there's an Ada somewhere, there's an Obina somewhere. Right, there's a Faith somewhere. Fun fact, that house we use for shooting Faith scene, or the whole Faith scene, is actually a real house with 4 kids, and Kunie Foundation has been very instrumental in making sure those kids at that house go to school. So we are not just using something vague, like it's a real place. That neighborhood, Kunie Foundation has done lots of projects in that neighborhood. And when the woman was saying, look at her in Ugu Peak is actually the real name of the neighborhood. If you drive into Enugu and you follow the express, you see it on your right, up the hill. Dope location. Yeah, if you're coming from Onitsha, driving into Enugu, on the express, it's just on your right. I think that is even before you hit Enugu town, is the first thing you actually hit. It's one of the oldest settlements in Enugu state. Under that whole hill is actually coal mines, all of them. And it was a very interesting thing. So when the brief came, and I'm a big fan of horror, so I was expecting people should just die. And Amara did a lovely job with Adachuku, and they came up with something. And when they said, okay, so take it off for me, I looked at it and I said, how am I going to tell this story? How will I make this real? If you look, you don't see any major actor here. These are like kids from school, people that, call them around and say, let's do this thing. And it was a journey for me because I wanted to tell stories that were real. Like, these are like 3 different stories. And it was actually strange for us because it's an anthology. For the first time, we're actually doing an anthology at this scale, like, 3 separate stories tying it. And it's only at the beginning of the movie you all see the 3 characters at the same location. And just that first scene is the first time you actually see 3 of them. Other parts, they keep alluding to the whole thing. And it just, this whole story is about people will never grow past where they are, which is a very painful thing. We referenced a very popular artist, Ayogo Kingsley. Know him, popular chap, And the guy is saying she wants to be like Ayogo Kingsley. Fun fact, Ayogo Kingsley actually started in Enugu before he moved to Lagos and it became mainstream. Right? And there are a lot of people out there. Some people will never leave that canopy over their head. Like the mother said, your talent is good, but look how where we are. Chika became a nurse. She married a rich husband. Chika don't blow. You still there yet, you won't do art. Who talent? As they say, we used to say, who talent help? No be so. And that is the reality a lot of people face. Right? These are, I think, I don't want to say this as a matter of fact, but I used to tell people this is based off true life events. This is based off true life events. And I'm happy you guys love the movie and you guys resonated with it, and yeah, thanks very much. I'm really super happy. Thanks very much.
I'll just add one thing. The underlining story we tried to bring was in every decision, either Faith, either Obina or Adolis are made, you have to feed first. So feeding or surviving, I think surviving was their main, I call it stumbling block so everything that happened, they were all thinking of survival. So I know that there are people out there, and we want to thank Kunie for this opportunity to do this. Some of us, the crew members, when we got there, that was the first time in our lives that we would see a place like that. So to us, it was real. It became real. In fact, I always share this experience because even without the film, we already started crying when we got there. There was a 2-year-old baby, if you guys remember when we got there. They all ran to come and see us, and the boy messed himself up. We cleaned him up. We had a set nurse, cleaned him up. In less than another 20 minutes, he has messed himself up. So it happened like 3 times, and I had to call the nurse and say, check this thing. So we had to look for the father. The father is somewhere down there in that tree drinking. The mother is dead. That boy is 2 years. He's left alone to walk about. He has a dysentery or something. And we had to ask our nurse, okay, please, she said, let's go and ask the father for permission. And our guide said, let her go with him, because they were drinking there and the guy does not even care. So we have people who are going through a lot. So when we saw this, we were like, oh God, thank you for the experience. It's something. Thank you so much for loving the film. And I pray we take action after here. There are people outside doing one or two things. Just support them. Thank you.
So much for coming here, because when the whole thing started, we're like, oh my God, how are we going to get anybody to come into the room? But thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the comments. Just like what T-Boy has said and what Young has said, this was an advocacy project for us. We've had a private screening one already, where we had government officials, we had CSOs, we had development actors come into the room, and it was surprising to hear some of them say they did not even know that that place existed in Enugu, which is very funny because the entire city is surrounded by slum communities. And so it's very important that even in our urbanism and enjoying the city life, we know that there are people in the same city right beside us. It's like the example I always use is VI and Ikota slum. It's just beside themselves. It's the same thing. This what's the name? Bunker. Is it Bunker? That is just close to the government house. Yeah. So we have this all around, and we might think that it doesn't affect us, but it does. We are all connected, and the well-being of one person is the well-being of everyone. And so at Kunie Foundation, we're basically advocating. We're training people. We're training or teaching, we're helping them to see the dignity in themselves so they can advocate for themselves, because that's very important. We want to give people the agency to be able to speak up for themselves. So it's not just us going to do the speaking, right? And which is why films like this are important, because we're amplifying voices. For now, we got actors from across the city. For our next projects, we're hoping to have more people within the community be part of the project. And it's also a way of boosting the economy, the local economy of the place as well. So these are just some of the things we do, apart from the economic empowerment programs that we do, and education sponsorships and things like that. And definitely we would love partnerships. We want funding, but the important thing is we have to know that we are all important in the scheme of things. We all have a role to play, and I really pray that we begin to see ourselves in the big picture, that everything we see is not just entertainment. There are people actually living like that. So thank you again for coming.
I think it was quite educative, but not so entertaining, but it was really educative. Like, I could relate to some scenes and some things that you guys talked about. Two parts got to me. The scene where the hammer was talking to Obina about building a band and all of that. I mean, going to Benin, I had a friend that I could understand that, okay, probably had like low self-esteem, that got to me, because I had like a friend back then in Benin that went through something similar, where it's influenced and drive, and at the end of the day, he had to leave Benin because he was prosecuted. And also, with that story, I could relate to that, because in a world that is ever evolving, our parents tend to want us to relive those things that they went through. It's like, oh, they want your son to be a doctor, you want your son to be an engineer and all of that. But like, times are evolving, we're shifting towards like the creative part. And if I have like a really good talent where you're a musician or an actor, or you can draw, but your parents don't want you to do that, they just want you to go to school and take that corporate world.
And well, what I would say is excellent movie, and I think one of the things that stood out for me is the fact that the film is based on real life experience, and you get to remind me of some of the places that we grew up from. In as much as I didn't grow up from the slum, but the places I grew up from have a similar nature, and then and some of these things, that some of the experiences that we see in these areas, and seeing it live. I don't cry when I watch movies, but I almost cried because I could relate with some of the things that happen in the movie, especially with Adolisa, that had to forgo her dreams just to make sure that at least the family get to see her do what she does not want to do, but at the end of the day, this is what is bringing money to the society. I think that's one of the things that resonate well with me. And then the other part of the story where people were called Jew. I, as a person, I was called Jew because I could not relate. I was even called a pastor, because I could not associate or do what other people are doing. Other of my mates who are part of the cult or belong to secret society. So you have to be called a Jew guy, a pastor, because of that reason. So I was able to relate with the story. Thank you.
Okay, so I find it very interesting, and I must say that the story is very compelling, and it's an everyday reality life of people living in the slum. So I'll say that I saw the story and I realized that there were three different angles to the story, three different stories that were being told in one movie, well, in one short film, and I want to say that even though you have three stories, like somebody said, you see the interconnectivity, you see the fact that it was basically showing the lives of people living in the slum, how they live, the challenges they are faced with, their reality actually. And the fact that the story was also, it was kind of showing us that all three of them had something in common, which was education. One wanted to go to school, one wanted to study art or practice the art. That's drawing and all of that. But bottom line, I'll say that it's a very compelling story. I like it. The sound for the film was very good. The picture was okay. And I must commend the director as well. The fact that he was able to play the shots. It was really nice, honestly.
I think that it's a really good movie in terms of creating awareness about what's taking place in the slums in Enugu, and also about what it is that we can do. I think that it's well shot. I think that it's well documented. I think that it's very impactful. I think I'm pretty aware of what takes place in slums, because right now the company is having a project with a slum. So it's not new, but perhaps it's good to see it documented and told in a way that makes others aware of what's taking place. The scene of the young girl with her mother, with her sick mother, that got to me because it reminded me of my grandmother. She transitioned in 2020, and so I know the dynamics of having to deal with an ill parent in that sense, and so that really got to me. And just thinking that, hey, no one has to deal with this. Like, there shouldn't be a situation where people cannot afford medicine. Like, at the very least, that should be free. At the very least, So that really got to me. And I think just sitting down there watching it, it was just that resolution that I have to really ensure that people have everything that it takes to be able to take care of themselves when they're ill.
I was touched, I was really moved. I didn't really expect it. Anthologies, 3-part anthologies, the 3 stories actually are stories that are very relatable, and the characters too, like I said, kudos to the director and the team for being able to direct the actors, the characters, to be able to evoke such emotions, to make me, because me, it's hard for me to be impressed by film, by any film as a filmmaker, but I was really, really touched by this film because of the emotions. And yes, also I love the way the director used music to tell the story, because that's one thing I know we really lack in this part of the industry, this part of the world. The music, the choice of music, evoking that emotion was really top notch. And also the cat in the window shots, which is like cutaway shots, using non-actors to elevate the story was a really brilliant move from the director. So the story was really interesting to watch and love to see it again. Okay, the first story was about this growing up of age 24, this young boy trying to experience manhood. The two second stories, the story, Ada's story and Faith's story, her mom being sick, then Ada to like this talented artist that want to pursue her career as an artist. And that part where her mom, she had this side-to-side talk with her mother, telling her that talent, yes, it's good, but good talent help and all that. That part was really, really touching for me, and it made me really understand what the less privileged are really going through. So much talent, but no enabling environment. Family trauma, separation, separated family, the effect of separated family or loss of a particular parent that usually was the breadwinner. All these are impact the creativity or the passion of every child. So that was the part that really got me.
We just finished screening Echoes from the Shadows here at the Abuja International Film Festival, and I was really glad to hear some of the comments that people could connect with what we were trying to tell, or the story we were trying to tell. These stories were born out of a study that we did in Iva Valley last year, 2024, and we wanted to understand what child welfare and well-being was like there. And it was very, very insightful. We put evidence to some of the assumptions that we had and clarified some assumptions as well. And so we picked some of those data and translated into the film. We also convened the necessary stakeholders. So we've had a private screening where we had government officials, where we had CSOs, NGOs, we had community leaders, we had the media, members of the media present, because we need to amplify the voices of every citizen. Every citizen is important in the scheme of things, and it's important that we all come together to ensure that we all are doing well. We are restoring dignity, and we are giving everyone an opportunity to thrive.
This is what makes films like this very important, because we're helping to amplify the voices of people in the community and bringing key actors together to deliberate on it, including the community leaders, including CBOs who work there. And we're partnering to design solutions and to scale solutions that already exist in order to address the core problems in these communities and to ensure that community members are owning the solutions themselves.